Done? Right. Yeah. Right. Very good morning, all of you, both online and offline. I think online one by one getting joined. Right. So it's a warm welcome for this weekend current affairs. So, as usually, any doubts, clarifications of last week or in between on current affairs, I'm very glad to answer it first before we getting into today's and last 2 3 days the crucial issues. Okay. So hope no questions. So let us back to the session. And today's the Hindu the carried, of course, the yesterday's Supreme Court judgment relating to defamation case and Rahul. So at last, it stayed the operation of the effectiveness of. Okay, right? Any doubt? Okay. So here, last time we discussed in length about the defamation case filed against Rahul Gandhi for his remark relating to the surname which carries the Modi. Simply said as, how is that? Okay, all the surnames ending with Modi are thieves. The moment you use the word all, okay, that affected everything is concerned. If you had used most, perhaps even at the lower court is unable to deliver any sort of judgment against Rahul. But one the all, keeping that in mind, it's considered yes, it's a defamation because you're defaming the other person and sentence him for the punishment of 2 years. And here the issue is that the 2 years is the maximum punishment. And now the Supreme Court questioned that maximum punishment. Okay. So what is the reason for imposing that maximum punishment, which was not given? Though other reasons are there why he should be punished under defamation, that to criminal defamation, no doubt. But even when his Indian Penal Code is talking about this, when any person, any case filed against, it's bailable. That means it's not that much serious. You can understand that it is selfish is concerned. And then, so once is a bailable, okay, simple word I am using. Once you get the bail, okay, within no time, even without you physically present, also you can get the bail. Anticipated bail to you will get everything is concerned. And if that be the case, why you impose the maximum punishment? So there is a question mark and the stage. And one more peculiar thing also happened is the day Rahul was convicted, the next day, I think less than 48 hours, he was disqualified as a member of the parliament. And within few days, he was asked to vacate his official residence as well. So it all looks like something, a planned one. So how far it is? That means there's always is the stated reasons, unstated reasons. Otherwise, we call hidden agenda. Okay, part and power. So may try to influence the judiciary in a different way, taking the things. Anyhow, no doubt the judiciary is independent and it will apply the law, not of any personal interest. But while so, the care has to be taken. And no doubt, when is Article 50 talking about separation of judiciary from executive. So that very important article, right, which you have to keep in mind, separation of judiciary from executive thing. So here disclose that when executive wants something, if it is judiciary is under the control of executive, the party in power especially, definitely they will try to put an influence on the judges, which we call sometimes the word undue influence will be there. But so the constitution maker in the beginning itself they thought about it. Let it be not. Okay? Let's, because executive only appoint the judges. Okay? So they should not have any control over that. The reason why judges will be removed, if at all, by the process, different process by the parliament. They don't have the power. And the Supreme Court innumerable times, and especially in the Keshwananda Bharati case, reiterated very much the judicial review is the basic structure of the constitution. Okay, independent judiciary is essential. Even it put an end to the NJOC, the constitutional amendment, keeping that in mind. So to see that the agenda of executive, especially hidden agenda, should not be carried forward by the judiciary. That's the topmost thing the judicial minds has to keep in mind, because we consider judges as the wise men in the society vis-a-vis with others. So the people have the trust on them only when they raise the occasion, not just okay always critical to the government, okay, or going against otherwise, or praising the government, following the letter and spirit of the constitution. That's only important for us. Okay, no doubt in this case when the Rahul Gandhi, okay, when the defamation issue arises, here we have the freedom of speech and expression under which article? Article 19 1A, if you consider, okay, more, because this article we have to remember very much. Number of times in examinations it appeared to, and quoting this even in written examinations advisable. Okay, because a regular issue. You have freedom of speech and expression. But as we all know very well that no fundamental right is absolute. Every fundamental right follows the star mark. Star mark means conditions apply. Okay. When it is not absolute, reasonable restrictions can be imposed. Who will impose reasonable restrictions? Or first of all, restrictions. The thing is that already Constitution itself imposed some restrictions from the beginning itself. And if necessary, if further, Parliament can do so. And whether the restrictions imposed by Parliament are just, reasonable, or fair, those three words used by Supreme Court in Maneka Gandhi case, just, reasonable, and fair, those should be. If that be the case, no issue. So when 19.1A talking about, again 19.2, if you take it, already it imposed restrictions there without affecting, okay, the national interest, the public order, most important, the security of the nation. In addition to the one word, use the word defamation. Out of the 8 conditions imposed by 19.2 is one of the things, because they said is my freedom, my rights ends where your right starts. That means I can stretch my hand as I like, but it should not touch the person. Okay, it should not touch the nose of the other person. There, my rights, my freedom ends. Your freedom starts. So this coexistence is essential. Live and let live. Nobody should take any sort of undue advantage of anybody. And the constitutional makers, the architects are well aware of this. So they made it. Even you are defaming other person. Who are you? And again, the mains strictly you have to remember this all depend upon the ethical principle, the very life. When you have the right to life under Article 21, right? When you say this, what for we are living? If you pose the simple question, what for, what exactly you want finally, the ultimate goal of the life, to lead only two things: happy, honorable. That's it. So Aristotle wonderfully summed up this, the very purpose of the human life to lead a happy and honorable life. Okay? So we want to be happy. For that, we'll do all the things. And honor is very important. What is honor? I consider myself, okay, something like this. You have no right to degrade me. I have my own status. Okay, I have my own esteem. You may consider ego or something less. You have no right to degrade me before the eyes of others for no reasons, for no substantial reason, especially. If anything else, you have to prove it. If somebody called the corrupt, you have to prove it, isn't it? And you can't just, and if is a liar, you need to have some base. You will not just call like this. So, when that honor, as they taken the crucial and the other defamation, the suit was filed, and for his that specific remark. And here the court is very clear on this. And they said the lower court, though even the high court, innumerable pages it went on, failed to give the reason for maximum punishment. Okay, that's the crucial issue. And anyhow, that will be read. And objective point of view, okay, when you talking about his concern, this was given the judgment by three judge bench. Is it a constitutional bench? No, right? When you use the word constitutional bench, it should be minimum of 5 judges. Okay, a single member bench, or two means division bench we call, three the thing is concerned, so that you will not have any problem. If two members deliver judgment, if one judge said another judge said something, again it will refer to other, it's not considered as a judgment. So again 3 members up to that, okay, but constitutional bench is 5. The thing is, anyhow, always when this appeal, now the government may file a case also, or other person, once it's going against, okay, when the Modis, whoever are named the filed a case, they may go ahead. There's a different issue at this juncture, remember. Then similarly, he represents the constituency. Okay, recently one examination, I think a bank or SSC something, they posed this question. As the issue is there, which constituency it belongs, or which are the following true, false, like this, and not in which state it is. Yes, in Kerala. Here, immediately it will not do so. Its purpose is over. Okay? Once it has given the stay order, next the consequences. Because last time, when the convicted, immediately speaker raised the occasion and disqualified. There, the Surat, right? When the magistrate court or the high court didn't ask the speaker to do that, he followed the law. So now that he has to follow the law, let us see that the similar speed, okay, will it revert back or will take its own time. And politically, it's a significant moment now. Shortly, the no confidence motion is about to on the table, right? If I remember correctly, August 8th, the discussion on August 8th and 10th, in between, you have this discussion on no confidence motion. So, if reinstated before, you will get an opportunity to attend the parliament and do so. And if the speaker failed, again they will go to the court. Then court will direct. Okay? Initially it can't. Okay? When somebody failed to fulfill their obligation, especially constitutional, then the court will direct. What is that writ is called? Do your duty. Mandamus, commanding the authorities to perform their assigned duties. So when they will command, when they fail to do so, okay, till then it can't, isn't it? So that is the next question. So it's all constitutional propriety. When I'm having right, who are you to deny? It's my option. I may or may not opt, isn't it? Now it has to be, because on this reason it was done. Now it is no more existing. So the decision has to be reverted, and he has to be given back whatever be the facilities he lost, isn't it? Even the court clearly mentioned, being the public person, it's very much inconvenient for this. And similarly, the electorate, no, the way not now, no representative for them. The bigger question mark, to whom they have to approach to resolve their problems, isn't it? So all the issues are there, no doubt, but sometimes helpless. The similar scenario here. Okay. Yeah, I think Dipti, Aparna, Divishri, Swati, good, all those mandamus, right? Commanding. Then, then one more thing also you have to keep in mind is not the final judgment. Okay, even the Surat related thing is the thing is concerned. So the serial continues. So let us see what is going to be done. Okay. Then another decision of the Supreme Court the other day is relating to GAN VAPC. It permitted ASI to go ahead for doing what it called as the scientific survey. ASI is Archaeological Survey of India. So Gnan Vapi, where is it? Hmm. What is the place? Is it Hyderabad? Hmm? It's in Varanasi. Okay. Okay. To conduct survey. Okay. Anyhow, if you are a student of archaeology, okay, or at least history, okay, you can. Huh? Okay. Okay. Yeah, here we get another answer of UP also. It's in Uttar Pradesh. Good. Online part is concerned. Good. Then, and secondly, this case, of course, filed by Anjuman Jamia Masjid Committee, challenging this High Court order. Here, one of the reason they quoted is why you are reopening the wounds of the past. There's an argument put forward when all the time he says why you are doing it. For example, hitherto, the Ayodhya issue. Now this, because India, when you say the generally called unity in diversity. So when you have so much of diversity, there are different religions are there, different languages, different cultures, okay, his way of life, and so many. Why you are unnecessarily invoking the past? Okay, that is one critical issue, and it looks also right in a way. But at the same time, other people who said is yesterday you have done something wrong. It means that today you should not rectify. Right? When the chance comes, let's rectify so that future it won't be a problem. Okay. Past should something happen. Time passed. Now the time came, or a chance came, otherwise an opportunity came for rectification. Do that, but that too scientifically in a specific reason, so that the future will not be so. No doubt, right? When something happened, present, like the different arguments, okay, in favor and against. But finally, Supreme Court stated very clearly without affecting the structure, because only survey. Okay, they are not what you call demolishing anything. A sample survey, they can do that. That too, a scientifically proven, without much affecting. So, what is the wrong in that? Is the general question, and for which Supreme Court agreed with it. Okay, the version. Let us go ahead with this. And here you have quickly recall the facts of Ayodhya. Ayodhya issue when the masjid, right, Ayodhya masjid were demolished. That the UN Babri Masjid, we call it, is UN crime. And then the President of India asked the advice of the Supreme Court what to do. Under which article President can seek the advice of Supreme Court? Huh? 42 or 43? Under Article 143, he can seek, okay, President seek advice of Supreme Court. President can seek the advice of Supreme Court under Article 143. At that time, in the beginning, he said, and first time Supreme Court rejected, we will not give advice. Previously, in number of cases, right, Supreme Court delivered its advice, and President generally follow. Of course, up to the President also to follow or not to follow. Advice is an advice. So Supreme Court said it's not an advice. Because it's a political issue, sensitive issue, you take the decision. Otherwise, you can file a case. We'll deliver the judgment. Right? We'll deliver judgment, not the advice. So the government filed a case, as usual, right? Overall, the case was filed, and it took number of years because all the sensitive issues, if you observe, court will not immediately address it. Because today you are emotional, tomorrow also you may be emotional, but in the course of time, those emotions slowly come down. Then do it, it's good enough. But otherwise, nation may burn. Okay? Because emotions and passions are very powerful tools. No reason will prevail over that. Okay? They refuse to listen to or even think about the rationality. Okay? No scientific temper there. So the reason why they will take, and so many years it has taken, and later everybody appreciates the judgment of the Supreme Court. It has taken, the basic thing is to whom the land belongs. Simple. When land belongs to me, it's mine. That's it. If you constructed on this, it's something you kabja the land and do that. It is considered illegal. Same principle, it applied there. So once moving around, it belonged to one of the Hindus. So he said it's a temple. At the same time, it invoked the Article 142. Okay. So when nothing is there, court can raise to the occasion based on the principles of natural justice, or otherwise the principle of equity, not equality, the equity, EQUITY, a fairness judgment. So the issue resolved. It asks the government to allocate another 5 acres there. Till the thing is gone. So finally it is. For years and years it's going on. Now that after the issue, once this case was filed, this organization is, present generation of Muslims, if you take it, they have nothing to do with these things. Reality also. Right? Some long back it happened. Okay? So they are feeling that, why now? All these things. Let it be so. But the other party clearly says, historical injustice has to be rectified. Right? You can't say that. For example, we are providing reservations to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. Why? One of the reason is, hitherto, this way the concept of untouchability, all the social strata, okay, discrimination. So they are suppressed and depressed. So let us now take this fellow brethren to the mainstream. So you are providing it. Why women reservation? Comparatively, they are the weaker section. Okay. So hitherto confined to the four walls as a patriarchal society. So give them opportunity. So historical wrongs has to be corrected. And the sati is the best example, right? A live person is putting onto the fire. How inhuman it is, right? It is. And Raja Ram Mohan Rai fight for that. So we call him as the father of Indian Renaissance. When you use the word Renaissance, what it means? Rebirth. Rebirth it is. Okay? So even you have historical examples, right? When an opportunity comes, yes, that need to be corrected. So that the future generations will get the fruits now. Or will not suffer those historical injustices. Just happen because of it. You're not going to adhere to the Manusmriti, no. Even Hindus are not adhering to that, right? You want to undo those things. If somebody is still said to be calling her conservative and branding it up. So slowly, you have to come out from any rigidities. So there is another argument put forward in the way. So from the mains point of view, if you are making it this, so all these issues has to keep in mind. And even the prelims, the questions on, right, the historical injustice and all the things, and somebody have posed the question on Raja Ram Mohan Rai Sati, then how you can link it. Okay, it's very clear on this. But anyhow, right now, where it is, it is. And no, 142, when it is saying very clearly that when there is no existing law or existing order, order is the executive order, government related. That means nothing is there. To make it very simple, judges can make the laws. Okay, judge made laws be called. But they can't do just like this. Based on the rationality, requirements, essential, they will. Then only Supreme Court can do so, not the High Court. Here, it is power assigned only to the Supreme Court, not even to the High Courts. For example, recently, it invoked Article 142, looks like a petty issue on divorce. So, as per rule, the Hindu law, or the thing is concerned, or the existing Hindu Marriages Act, minimum 1 year period is required once you married. If any difference, anything else to settle. In between, you can't apply even for divorce. You will not be granted. But there are maybe some the reasons because of which you are not able to live together at all. It's impossible to live together. If that be the case, what to do? Why should we wait for? Then finally Supreme Court get convinced. Yes, this reason is perfectly right. When that be the case, it invoked Article 142. Now, if somebody wants it in between, they are directly approached to the Supreme Court now. Of course, through the family court. First, they had to, the thing is concerned, then even citing the president, family court here can't give the divorce. Already Supreme Court delivered. You have the concept called precedence. Now, family court can give? No. Supreme Court clearly stated, whenever it invoked Article 142, only Supreme Court can do so, even in future. Maybe high courts and other lower courts can quote it, but again, it has to come back to the Supreme Court. That's it. Later, it's up to the parliament, the government. Okay, it will do so. Yeah. Because that's what generally we call judicial activism. Okay, when legislature and executive fail to do so or not doing it, then judiciary raised to the occasion. So the reason why we have the faith on the judiciary, the reason why we are calling judges are the wise men in the society overall, because they don't have any personal. They are bound by this, what I said in the beginning, letter and spirit of the law. Generally, either two, we don't have any problem. But by chance, if the parliament has undone that, assume it. Again, court will decide. Okay? It's right or wrong. That's what judicial review, right? What is the judicial review? What is judicial review? Hmm? Review by judiciary. What it is reviewing? Any legislations or executive orders. Laws passed by parliament, we call our state assembly. Executive order is president issues, no? These ordinances, GOs, all the things. They should be according to the constitution. If that means the constitutionality will be looked into by the judiciary. If they are according to constitution, green mark, right. If not, red mark. They'll strike it off. So this power of declaring any law unconstitutional, if it is not according to the provisions of the constitution, we call the judiciary. Okay, court is having this very clearly. Even Article 13 is clearly talking about this. Okay, regarding fundamental rights, the starting. So for everything that will do so. Okay, even if you said court cannot look into, for example, anti-defection law. Which schedule anti-defection law? Huh? Uh, yeah, it's a 10th schedule anti-defection law. In the beginning, 1985 when it was made, so clause 7 states that speaker decision is final. It can't be questioned in court. Court has no jurisdiction to look into the speaker decision. And Supreme Court validated anti-defection law and striken off that clause. Speaker can take decision, but it cannot take away our power. Independent judiciary, judicial review is the basic structure. You can't. So, remaining part it validated, and that part it striked off. Like this it is. So they can even NJOC, National Judicial Authority, when you're talking about is concerned, that's also a strike enough. Even the constitutional amendment, isn't it? So we have then examples too. Then do it. And sometimes, for example, you have the issue came the judicial activism because of very important issues, triple talaq. Finally, the Supreme Court criminalized Supreme Court has undone the triple talaq. It's out of question. No question. And later, the Parliament made a law which criminalized it. And maximum punishment of 3 years if somebody done it. That was not stated by Supreme Court. Supreme Court insists no question of triple talaq. You have to go the process. Anyhow, Islamic law is there. Only triple talaq is not. So you have to go to Haji, the head of the masjid. Before that, you may do so as per your law. But not just like this. Because there is more inhuman. But later the Parliament criminalized further. So that's how sometimes Parliament will take forward certain issues. Okay, so we had different examples on this. So let us see how it is going to be on this. Oh, this is what I'm saying. When is this Places of Worship Act? If a controversial, what to do? Okay, any law passed by Parliament can be questioned. Okay, even individually we can protest. Okay, down. You may use the media, write articles. Plus, one more option is you can file a petition in the court against the law. Okay, even now the same thing it is. Exemption should be given for this purpose. This is what no right, no law is final. Everything follows with the star marks. Always be there exemptions. Okay, so you have to adhere. Already it was challenged. The issue is pending before the court. The parties concerned. So just law is there doesn't mean that you can't question it. You can question the very law, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. According to the Law of Worship Act, it is that. But I'm not accepting that. But at the same time, I'm not violating that. Now I'm challenging in the court. Now the court will say finally. Isn't already the case is pending in the court. So once this issue raised to occasion, definitely others invoke this concept. Then at that time it will decide how far it is. Okay? Anything else? Any law passed by, it can be questioned. Hmm. The court is there for that purpose only. No? Then, of course, one more crucial thing. Again, of course, judicial review related only. Supreme Court starts hearing, okay, relating to Article 370. So, what is the issue? So, when Article 370 is what you call inserted into Indian Constitution, when it was abrogated. Tell me clearly these two answers first. When Article 370 was put in or in the Constitution, question 1. Question 2 is when it was abrogated. Year. Okay. Or else tell me when the Constitution came into force on January 26, 1950. Of course, it was finalized, adopted on November 26, 1949. Right? So, at the time of commencement of the Constitution, do we have Article 370? Huh? So recently, when the civil service interview is on, in one of the mock tests, so team we posed that question. Unfortunately, not for that candidate. Another candidate got the same question from the UPSC. Okay, later we was briefed, so whatever the question appeared there, so another student got benefited out of it. Huh? So no answers. Yeah, yeah. I think Swati answered 1949 itself. That is when the Constitution, the day adopted. Yes, my dears. Remembered here, 19, right? 47 August 15th, we got independence, right? At that time, Kashmir is in India on the day of independence? No. It's very clear, right? Because while Britishers left, they have given an option for the princely states. We have more than 550 princely states to join with India or with Pakistan. And the emperor of Kashmir preferred to be independent. Okay? But it so happens that 1948, when it came to the Indian concern, there the scenario changed. Pakistan, with the help of the tribals, started occupying this part, okay? Especially now we are calling this, right? POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. They occupied it. And again, this area we call GB, Gilgit Baltistan. That was ruled by another king. Ladakh ruled by another king. And Har Singh was the emperor. Entire Kashmir is under his control. Okay? And with the help of the Britishers, Gilgit Baltistan joined with the Pak voluntarily. And Pakistan wants entire Kashmir. So it asked Gilbertson, just wait. So initially they thought that he may not join because the Muslim majority, a Hindu king, no option. But it so happened finally he signed a treaty of accession. Okay. So when the Treaty of Accession was signed, now it became, then India we send its forces, then we UN entered to stop the war. Don't fight, you just born both of you, right? Why fight? Already you are fighting, and the people are moving this side that side, the blood, okay, is flowing on the borders. Why now again on this? So we have this called LOC, line of control, initially monitored by the UN itself. Okay, the part actual borderline of India Pakistan is called as, so number of time we discussed, right? Radcliffe line. India and Bangladesh borderline, that's also right, because once upon a time East Pakistan, West Pakistan, right? So once that is the case, okay, so then when the Treaty of Accession signed, at that time we Indians promised certain things, especially to convince the leaders of Muslims. Okay, we will give a special status for you. You know, one of the thing is that uh, you have two prime ministers till 1956: Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, at least the calling Chief Minister after 56 was done that, after states reorganization and all the things. So the reason why the world is to say, India we have the one main language, though it is not national language, the Hindi. Hindi, there's a one word called kal. What is the meaning of kal? We don't know that, right? It may reflect the past, yesterday. It may talk about the future, the tomorrow. Only regarding contextually you can understand the meaning. If you take the word is, and no language in the world contains this. So peculiar language we have. So this is the peculiar futures. You may have president, prime minister, deputy prime minister like this, vice presidents. Nowhere you will find prime minister one, prime minister two. At least those things are there. Here, not like this. Okay, the prime minister of Kashmir, when the thing is concerned. So that sort of peculiarity we have the things. But still, okay, because of various reasons, right? So given in a way. And now that the question is, when just now when said 1948 and it was abrogated in 2019. So at the time of commencement of the constitution, it is there very much. Okay. So Kashmir became part of India in 48 itself. At that time, we are making the constitution. So when the day of adoption, it's there. Okay. As promised, we are given a special, but part 11, this is very, because number, how many parts? What is 25? What is 25? My dear, there is no 25. Okay, only 22. Maybe, for example, 4A, fundamental duties added. So it's not an Excel sheet, right? Okay, in Excel sheet, by default, you have, right, those numbers. But it's not like this. For sake of it, you may say counting, but no examination will ask you what, if you say 25, what is 25? Okay, so it's 22 only, plus 3. You may put the earth, because here and there added. Whatever you are saying is right. All textbooks, unfortunately, carry the same thing. But the competitive, you have to be thinking a different way. It won't matter. So here, 21, part 21 of the Constitution deals with this. And the wording is very clear: temporary, transitional, and special provisions. So, in the beginning itself, the fathers of the Constitution are very clear on this. It's only for a time being. Right? They use the wording very clearly. But it so happens that in the course of time, somebody challenged. Temporary means how long temporary? Today, okay. 1 year, okay. 10 years, okay. How long? So when a case was filed, Supreme Court is of the opinion that no, no, it is a permanent fixture. Okay? You can't run. It's not done by the Constitution, but Supreme Court judgment, precedents when you say this concern, so it brush aside those reasons, ask the government to scrap the Article 370. And now that government itself, through the presidential order, it was done away. Generally, what will happen? If something is there in the Constitution, it has to be amended. Either in the amendment includes inserting, deletion, alterations. Anything can be. Okay? Then how is that without the constitutional amendment through presidential order you are doing? But very 370 itself, when you say incorporating temporary transition provisions, exempt J&K from all the application of India. That's what always there is word called as except. Except this Article 1 and 370, nothing. No, you have total 395 articles. Nothing is applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. Even Indian Penal Code said except Jammu and Kashmir. Our contract taxes except Jammu and Kashmir. You cannot purchase a land in Jammu and Kashmir. Anywhere else you can. And for that matter, you people can't marry the Jammu and Kashmiri girl. If marries, that girl will lose her permanent citizenship. That is permanent, or there they called it as the permanent resident, PR status. So innumerable restrictions are there. Even the government job is not be given there. So all these things. So this special provisions restrict the parliament to legislative. Then if restricted the parliament, who will do so? The state assembly will take care. In the beginning, if you remember correctly, when Indian Parliament was created, do we have, when the Indian Constitution came into force, Indian Parliament? We don't have, right? 1952. So 51 ending elections. 52 only Parliament were constituted. Then who made the laws? Constituent Assembly made the laws. So like this, as the Kashmir, to have the Constituent Assembly supposed to be. Once the assembly came, that Constituent Assembly disappears. Till the Parliament, you have the Constituent Assembly. That only taken care. Once the Parliament came, all automatically receded to background. The similar way, when the state reorganization, right, happened in 1956, which commission recommended? Fazil Ali, right? All the thing is concerned, language basis and part is concerned. Whatever hitherto taken care by, okay, the laws by the Constituent Assembly receded to the background and Assembly came forward. So no more Constituent Assembly for the Kashmir now. In the beginning it is there. And again, one more point, legal point you have to keep in mind. When the Constitution of India came into force, there is no Constituent Assembly for Jammu and Kashmir. As the word accept, because your special provision accept this, then who will make the law? Then Constituent Assembly of India itself thought of creating a special legislature for. But in between that, let the president will do so. Because they are the architects. They said, yes, president can do so, need not be a Constituent Assembly. So through the presidential order only, the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir was created. Later, 51. Okay, when the Constitution came into force, it's not there. Later, when the assembly and everything, election process over, that is set background and assembly is taken over. Now, to change this temporary provision, consent of that Constituent Assembly required. Now, instead of Constituent Assembly, the state is there. Assembly is there. When assembly is not at all there, what to do? Simple, right? Even in general thing, ordinance can be issued. right? There end the matter. Even when, in case of dissolution of assembly, dissolution is next elections only, president can issue the orders. There end the matter. So that's what, on this basis, the government has moved forward, and they said is now is the time to put an end. So 2019 it was put. So just because now the civil service recent patterns completely changed, so the dates you have to keep in mind, and the order, the okay, has to be keep in mind. So when this instrument of accession, this is called, okay, was signed by Har Singh, okay, Raja Har Singh, and government of India was represented by whom? Mountbatten, no, he's a Britisher, no? Though is the last Governor General of British India as well as the first Governor General of independent India. Okay, later after Mountbatten, who? Rajagopalachari, Rajaji, whom we call, is the second uh, Governor General, or otherwise called first Indian. Okay, we call. After that, anyhow, the passed on to. So this was signed by the Har Singh as well as then Governor General Mountbatten. Okay, in the end of 1947. Yeah. So only initially regarding defense, external affairs, communication part only, Parliament has the power. But in the time, anything can be attained with the concurrence. That means together with the acceptance of the state governments, they made it. And actually, the 54 order is very, very crucial, presidential order. It ended and overall extended everything. You have 35A was added by presidential order. And if you read the bare act of fundamental right, Indian Constitution, if you look at the fundamental right chapter, you will never find the Article 35A. Okay? If it is the only bare act, you will never find, because that was not inserted into the Constitution by amendment. As it was done in the presidential order, nothing was there in the bare act. So that point also you have to keep in mind. And 54 only that was done. The moment Article 370 special status scrapped, 35A automatically disappeared. No need to do anything else, isn't it? So in the course of time, they extended from 54 onwards. Slowly, we can say this, the Jammu and Kashmir lost its special status from 1954 itself. Okay? Not now. Okay? Most of the things they started applying part. So here, Article 373, okay, permit the deletion by a presidential order. It permits. It's not that president is doing on his own account his whims and fancies. Okay, that means the architects of Indian Constitution are very clear about this. When you use the word temporary or things, who will do and all things is concerned. But only thing they said is they use the word however, right? They put some star mark there. Parliament can't do on its own. So the concurrence of the J&K's assembly is this. Now that such assembly dissolved, okay, this is not existing from January 26, 1957. So who can do so? Is it an assembly required? Is it assembly compulsory? Now, first of all, there is no state at all. It has completely, statehood itself is done away with. Divided into two things. And though provided, it is yet to constitute. When nothing else, the parliament will do so. Like union territory, who will make the laws? Parliament only make the laws for union territory. They are the laws, not ordinances. You have to keep that in mind. There end the matter. That's how the government have its own legal answering for these things. Yeah, it's a very strategical decision too, right? So when you the word strategical decision, This Kashmir, no, Gilgit Balsa voluntary it is concerned. Now this is the J&K, this is the Ladakh. J&K one, this is entire thing is Ladakh now. GB is now part of Ladakh, Union Territory. So in the course of time, if Pakistan says Jammu and Kashmir issue, the Google map shows only this. Right? Future generation will not aware of it. Oh, this is concerned. Okay. So a very strategical decision in that way. Okay. So finally, in 2019, this starts the Constitution application and Jammu and Kashmir order. So it's called an order, not an act. Okay, 2019. Withdraw the special status. Now tell me, is that Article 370 is in the Constitution or just it's not there? It is the only that special status. It is there very much. It's not deleted. And I said this by another act. Okay, this is order done away with. Then again, act was made. This act bifurcated. After doing this, then they bifurcated the Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories. And again, Jammu and Kashmir with legislative assembly, Ladakh without an assembly. So Ladakh is not having assembly. Now they are fighting for. No? Why discrimination? Why you are given to that? Why not we? You are deprived. Hitherto they have MLA, right? Now no MLA. Of course MP is there, but no MLA. So they want at least include us in the schedule. Which schedule they are asking? Because Ladakh is more of tribals, not a Muslim population. Even inclination towards Buddhism. No, 5 or 6. They want to be in 6. Right? Rather than 5. 5 is talking about scheduled areas, tribal general. But whereas 6 is specifically 4 states. What are those 4 states? AMTM. Assam. Manipur is there. Just because your Manipur is burning doesn't mean Manipur is there. Mizoram, Meghalaya, and Tripura. Okay, Manipur is not. Though 5th schedule part is that. Yeah. So when the issue of the legal issues arises, just now I said, when the court delivered its judgment, that is what Sampath Prakash, if something in-depth analysis. In 1969, in a Sampath Prakash case, Supreme Court refused to accept 370 as temporary and said Article 370 has never ceased to be operative, and it considered it as a permanent provision. Same thing in 2017 itself, recently, in a Kumari Vijayalakshmi, they issued the Delhi High Court also upheld the same thing. Is a Delhi High Court, not Supreme Court in this case. Okay. So, as already court says, now what they will say? Anyhow, this is the constitutional bench. Court has the power to review its own decision. Power of review is there. The reason why they created the constitutional bench. So it can undo its previous versions, come up with a new version, keeping with the changing scenario. Okay. So these are all, of course, few things which we discussed, the arguments in favor and against will be there. So any doubts on this Article 370? So either the prelims point of view, mains point of view, you should be able to answer the issue. Jupala Sari 6, right. Then, one more thing relating to Supreme Court judgment this time. talking about mob lynching. Okay, is a word we made the thing is concerned. They said there's a rampant rise of lynching violations are going on. It violating Article 14, equality before law, 15, religious non-discrimination, 21, right to life. So when we use this word lynching, mob lynching, okay, especially this issue arise, what to eat, what not to eat. When Hindus considered cow as a auspicious, it's not the similar with they will eat it, the other community. So once they are eating this, so why you are killing the animals? So this argument continues, and the few people they started killing that man itself or the persons. Okay. So once you kill the person on religious grounds, based on certain things are not adhered to, that means you are taking the law into your hands. So this sort of the murders we call as lynching. Okay, on the part. So you want something as per the religious custom and tradition, which others don't want adhered, you just killed the other area. Then it's a mob. Okay, together. Even no, last Mumbai, I think somebody just carrying the regular meat, and they feel that it's not meat, it is a thing, and the mob killed it. So in the mob means who is the bigger question mark, right? So this word we use for the lynching. So now the court become very serious about it. So Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan, Bihar, MP, Haryana, all this, okay, the states, this sort of mob violence is at its heights. So the court questioned this one as it's directly affecting the fundamental rights, right to life mainly, apart from others. And apart from cow-related mob lynches, even the issues of communal-based violence, suspicion of child lifting, okay, suddenly, the children will be taken away by others, and theft cases, these are also will come under the mob lynching, okay, mainly here. So then, of course, one more thing relating the court. Today's newspaper carries this. The Bombay High Court judge quits, announces decision in an open court. So simply put it, he resigned. So judge has power to resign, option to resign, we can say. But now that became the open court itself announced, so that become the question mark. Perhaps something happened beside the scenes. So, for our point of view, the judges will be appointed by whom? The President of India will appoint. So, if at all you wanted to resign, to whom he will submit? Whether Supreme Court or the High Court judge submitted to the President of India. So, that point you have to keep in mind. Though it was announced, he sent the letter to President of India to accept. Till that, is the judge. Okay, that has to be accepted again. And another point you have to keep in: President cannot appoint on his own. He can do so only on the recommendations of collegium. Collegium came into force from when? Is it from the constitution came into force? So in the beginning it is not there. So from when the collegium system came? Year. Okay, judges case, no doubt. 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s? Hmm? It's in 90s. Especially, when the VP Singh government, and later at that time we had the two prime ministers, even the three prime ministers within 2 years. So complete political uncertainty is prevailing. Okay, 1991 onwards you have the system. So they can be so. So a quick recollection of those appointment of judges, qualifications, and their removal, High Court, Supreme Court judgments and their resignations, salaries. So try to recollect those things and do this also whenever we happen. So as the decision looks like subjective, let us not get into those issues. Then, oh, it's not properly looking. One more thing is now the Jharkhand government released a draft rules for public consultation. They wish to implement PISA Act of 1996. So, as the now the state government wanted to implement this PISA Act in that state, a quick recollection of this: what is this PISA Act? Okay, it's yet to be approved, right? Then Jharkhand. So it is nothing but panchayat. Panchayats. P stands for panchayats. E for extension to scheduled areas act, as it enacted in 1996. So when the scheduled areas, just now I said when the fifth schedule, sixth schedule, scheduled areas, tribal areas in other states is covered by the fifth schedule. You have Andhra Pradesh, for example, the Araku area and all the things. You have scheduled areas. Even Telangana recently adopted a few areas. Utnur, Turnagaram, those things are there. So like this PISA Act was applied by, so far is in operational in Himachal Pradesh, in Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 states right now it is in operation mode. Okay. And overall, 10 states are governed by this fifth schedule right now. That means 7 states in operation mode. Others, they are yet to adopt. But they are permitted to do so. One among them is Himachal Pradesh. So now let's see the Jharkhand, how they wanted to. So what is the difference here? When the panchayat, now that, because empowering the local government, or otherwise called democracy at the doorstep of the people, we have the concept of the panchayat. We have the Balwant Rai Mehta committee, Ashok Mehta committee, 3-tier system, 2-tier system, all we have. But in the course of time, it was constitutionalized. In the beginning, it is not. So which amendment provided constitutional status to Panchayati Raj? 73rd Constitutional Amendment. Year? 1992. Okay. Yeah, 73rd Amendment. 92 it is. 93 it came into force. April. Okay. The commencement is next year. 92 Act was made. Came into force 93. So, same thing. This 73rd, 74th. 74th is regarding municipalities. So one of the thing is they constituted the panchayat system. It is the lowest rung, mainly Gram Sabha. All the voters, eligible voters are the members. Then we have the Sarpanch, directly elected by the people. And the powers and everything was mentioned over there. But when you come to the tribal areas, they thought of something else. They want to empower more rather than general powers enjoyed by the panchayats. So that the tribals' culture and heritage will be protected. Because most often they preferred remoteness, their way of life is different. Still they are not into the mainstream. Of course, now times are changing, but still it is. So this act permitted these areas, these Gram Sabhas approaches, all the plans, programs, and projects will be done by it. I think somehow it's not very clear. And this Gram Sabha is competent to safeguard and preserve traditions and customs. Main point is that here the Gram Sabha only has the power to preserve this. That means more powers, which other Gram Sabhas are not having, the thing is concerned. For example, a government program beneficiary. Who will identify a beneficiary? In this case, PISA, wherever Gram Sabha only identify. Whereas here, it is not the case. Generally, the government is the Gram Sabha may recommend if at all. Final decision will be taken in the collectorate. Assume it, right? So entirely a different structure is concerned. Then similarly, uh, the approval of any utilization certificates. Generally, we have to approach to the MRO, okay, the office, and get the certificates. Or municipalities, you have to get the certificate. But here, Gram Sabha only authorized to issue those thing is concerned. Even reservation of seats will be done by Gram Sabha only. Like this, they have the more powers. They are empowered with this, so that locally they can protect it. In a way, even the panchayats, when is concerned, they will decide the local cases based on their customs and traditions, not of the application of law. So now the Jharkhand wanted to do that one. So let us see, wait and say part. Then next part, and come to the is concerned. At last, the committee on subcategorization of OBCs submitted its report. So after 6 years, that means now 2023. So back to 2017, the committee was appointed, headed by Justice G. Rohini. So it's named after her, Rohini Commission, regarding categorization of this. So appointed in 2007. So a quick recollection of those things. Again, a question. Now we have a reservation for SC, STs, OBCs. Now tell me, these SC, ST reservations are existing or not at the time of commencement of the Indian Constitution. That is on 26th November 1950, 26th January 1950. And 1950, 26th January, is that reservations or the clause of reservation is in the Constitution or not? Whatever you are saying is right. My question is that when January 26, 1950 Constitution came into force, or for that matter, November 26, 1949 Constitution finalized, do we have this reservation clauses? No? Now, 15.4, right? When 15.4, 16.4 clauses, right? Talking about the reservation for socially and educationally backward classes. Do we have or not? So we have answers online, yes and no. Both are there. Okay. So it is an absolute no. It's not there. 1951, the very first constitutional amendment added this. And this amendment was done by the very Constituent Assembly itself. At that time, it is acting as the parliament, a provisional parliament. Okay. That only did it. Okay. So, identifying when they socially, educationally. So this E stands for educationally, not economically. And the caste has taken as the criteria, not income. identifying SC, ST become easy. Is socially, educationally backward classes. So when you backward classes, SC is clear, ST clear, who are the other backward classes? It is become the question mark. So to decide that, in 1953, a commission called as Kalekar Commission. Hmm? Yeah, the point. Though it submit report, it has not seen the light of the day. Then we have the Mandal Commission. Which year? 1978. Submitted report 1980. But finally, VP Singh government approved this 27%. Here the bigger question mark is, who are the identifying? That itself is become a tough job. So assign to the states, you take care first. Okay. And okay, right. Added through first constitutional amendment, right? Himabindu mentioned. Right. So you have those commissions, and finally done it. And while delivering the judgment, the Supreme Court, in a famous case, what is that generally called Mandal case? What is the other name? Indra? Wonderful. Indra Sahani case. So in this Indra Sahani case, 1993, Supreme Court used the word, what is this? Creamy layer. That means the better of the sections of the society should be denied. Because OBC, the most of the, either the caste part, okay. But the few are already developed in this, because now independent India, so many years passed, economically they are well off. So what is the need for them? So initially they cap for 6 lakhs per annum income. Now they increase to 8 lakhs. And plus any government job if you are doing, especially gazetted officer and above cadres, then they are denied the group 1 cadre. Others can be do so. And every state, what they have done is, few castes are already developed, few are still backward. So they categorize ABCD, even in United Andhra and now here, BCA, B, C, D are there. So in OBC, you don't have those things. Central level, all are in this. So they feel that like state level categorization, there also should be categorized. So how to categorize that? What the rationality to be adopted? State level easy. When it comes to the national level, it become a tough job it is. So to look into that, the Rohini Commission was appointed, and after 6 years, because the main issue is of statistics, you need to get the proper data. And unfortunately, we don't have the caste-based data officially. Variations are there. So you have to look into all those issues, plus their economic status. All the issues are not there right now. So there's a demand for caste-based census from long time also. And so far it has not done. Only during the British regime it was there. and that only we are taking as the basis. And so far, we don't have that. And without the statistics, you cannot take a rational decision. You may take the decision, it may or may not be rational. That is a very tough job for any commission. But still, so we have to wait and see what actually the report finally talked about and how the categorization can be done. Even in this case, you remember SC, there's a demand for categorization also. So that there are few who is better off. And there's a demand also creamy layer to be applied to even SC and STs. Otherwise, what's happening is already those who avail the benefit, they only getting benefits rather than others. Okay? In Machilipatnam, there's one family of scheduled caste, 8 persons, either IAS or IPS. They're family members. Either. Okay? I mean, generations, not of at one stroke. So I think 4 or 5 generations overall. So what's the need for them? Now they're economically better off. So like this, we have the different arguments, and let's see what going to, because a political decision, what is going to be happen. Then quickly back to few international issues. The Myanmar junta at last pardons Aung San Suu Kyi. Here, you can quickly recollect this in 2019, right? Elections in 2020, and there's a 2021, there's a military coup. It replaced the elected government, and then leader Aung San Suu Kyi was arrested. Not only arrested, she was charged with innumerable cases, and in most of the cases, life imprisonment or hanged to it like this. And in number of cases now, she was pardoned by the president, of course. Instead of jail, she was shifted to home, but still under house arrest. And they extended this military rule for 1 more year. Though they thought election may be, but it is not the case. So still that authoritarian rule continues. And Aung San Suu Kyi is a Nobel laureate as well, of course, supported by this. Now, the Russia-Ukraine war, everybody wanted to peace process, different countries putting forward their peace plans. Now, one more attempt is going to take place in Jeddah shortly. And this time, India is going to participate. Hitherto, India is not officially participated anything, any peace plan. Jeddah, which country? Huh? Huh? Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia's initiation, it's coming it up. So number of European countries, US, China too participating, and it's an initiative of his crown prince, okay, Mohammed bin Salman is a mediator now. So even China put forward its plan. Ukrainian president put forward his plan. Previously, Saudi Arabia also put forward its plan. But even African countries put forward their plans. But finally, nothing is going to shape. Now, this is relevant for us because India is going to be, first time, India is going to participate in the peace plan. So whether India will actively act or just or no. So the quick recollection, all these red marks right now still under the control of Russians, whether Russian backed or Russian control. Now this Odyssey, they wanted to bombing recently, so that this entire coastal part, they want to stop the access from this. And recently they put off one Okay, Turkey, European Union backed agreement. What is that? Uh, what is that? Black Sea? Green? Uh, hmm. What is that specific agreement is called as? Good. Black Sea? Green? Green Initiative. Right. So that you can go ahead quickly on this. Then, of course, one more thing from Israel, we started receiving number of what you call tanks related, including Bofors at that time, right? When you're thinking concern. So now it's an anti-tank spike, NLOS missiles we are getting from the thing. So NLOS, non-line of sight. So you may not able to see, but still you can do so. So they are the anti-tank guided missiles. They can target from distances up to 30 kilometers and are capable of destroying enemy targets even hidden behind mountains. Okay, not beside the mountain or other side of the mountain. Even inside it is there, so it will go. Then the targets it will be that. So that the specialty of this NLOS, non-line of sight anti-tank guided missile. So we are getting from Israel. Then, of course, Jupiter 3. So you may say this, if something, what is Jupiter 3? It is now nothing but the world's largest private communication satellite developed by SpaceX. SpaceX belongs to? Right. Then one more issue, the Narendra Modi was conferred with Lokmanya Tilak National Award. So quick recollection of Tilak is important. The history point of view, Tilak, Lokmanya, when you say this, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, he started two festivals. What are those? Now shortly coming. So Ganesh and Shivaji festivals too. Two newspapers, Marathi and Kesari. Kesari in which language? Marathi in which language? Marathi in Marathi only? No, Marathi in English language, Kesari in Marathi language. So those looks like, so we have to keep that in mind. And it was known as father of what? The Britishers described him as father of, yeah, good, father of Indian unrest. And Tilak upset very much. And he filed a defamation suit. So defamation suit against the British government. Okay. And okay. So he himself argued. Anyhow, while arguing this, unfortunately, he passed away. Of course, Home Rule movement was very much active, though initiated by Anne Besant, is because. And now what's a book written by Bal Gangadhar Tilak? So it's a Gita Rahasya. So after this, Vande Mataram, this, no, that partition of Bengal, okay, Swadeshi movement parts, at the time he was arrested and put in Mandale jail. Mandale now, right now in Myanmar. So there he started Gita Rahasya. Okay, a number of competitive examinations, including civil services, you have that questions. So few facts, quick recollection of Tilak has to be done. Then now that 15th August coming shortly, again like last year before, Har Ghar Tiranga, the government is initiating, and 13th, 15th August, every one has to now, okay, the national pride, then you have to unfurl. And what the size of this flag? 2:3, 3:2. So length and breadth, okay, different is concerned. When the height part is 2 and width is 3, okay, and that has to be adhered to. Which is on the top, green or the saffron? So you cannot ulta palta like this, right? sacrifice that stands for. So it has to be adhered to all the way. Then, and at the same time, now to carry forward this one, Meri Mati Mera Desh is a new campaign announced by the Modi. Here we wanted to honor the martyrs, the brave hearts who sacrificed their life for independent India, not just Gandhi, not just the few leaders. Okay? So even at the ground level, whoever done something, for example, Jallianwala Bagh massacre has taken place. So can't we say that they sacrificed for India? Isn't it? When they gathered to protest against this draconian laws, so definitely, right? So wherever the village level, let you do so. So all the special inscriptions they are planning, and install lakhs of village panchayats in this country, the memorials of these personalities. So we have to wait and see how that is going to take the shape. Anyhow, the recollecting the things is very much India. And one more thing, study in India, a portal launch, because we have the brain drain. Okay, generally the Indians wish to go abroad. Previously, only for doctors like this, stop after graduation you used to go. Now, immediately after +2, you are going, and there are people. So the Indians are looking towards the Western nations, or now Australia, New Zealand to become their destinations apart from America, Canada, European countries. Now we have to attract back. Anyhow, already the most of the African nationals and other countries they are coming to India, and few Middle East part also. So to attract more, it is already in the new education policy. We are allowing the foreign universities also to set up here, and we are having tie-ups here. So once this is the scenario is happening, what's the need for you to go? Let you do it, and not only that, let attract the others. So with that intention, we have this study in India program. Then one more thing, Sikkim recognized as world first organic and crime-free state by the World Book of Records. So organic, at least we can understand, in the crime-free state and really appreciable part is concerned. So 100% organic policy they are maintaining. Okay. Then of course sports related, Aditya Samant became India's 83rd grandmaster now. And when is the person last time we discussed, okay, Paula Praneeth of Telangana, he become 82nd, right? As we are writing this TS lessons, we can remember others. Okay, recent part is concerned. Then similarly, same thing in the chess. Uh, Gukesh Vote takes Anand as India's top ranked chess player. So this is also the issue that has to be taken care. Then again, women force. So India's first ever gold at this archery world championship was achieved by this women team as the first ever the part is concerned. So really we have to appreciate and congratulate the entire team and possibility all the way. Then now this shortly we are going to have the Durand Cup and try to recollect different sports. Durand Cup, which sports? Hmm? Football, right. So they're going to begin in Calcutta, the football tournament. So try to remember what are the different cups of cricket, different cups of baseball, the badminton, and all the things from exam point of view required for this. Then, of course, recently a Navaratna status was assigned to ONGC Videsh Limited. So, in this quick recollection of what are those 13 Maharatnas, what are those 14 Navaratnas forms, and 74 mini Ratnas. So, Google it and try to recollect those things. Then we have the title SA. It's the Asia's highest ever land art, okay, group exhibition, where at Leh, Ladakh, it is taking place. So that is a symbolic when the thing is concerned. Then, of course, lastly, you gave God Bharat, everlasting India. So the biggest museum. So recently, the Prime Minister announced in the Pragati Maidan while inserting all those things. This is what the structures lives in this. So virtually in between, we can say North Black, South Black of Rashtrapati Bhavan is coming up shortly. The National Museum with 1.2 lakhs square meters. Yeah, it's there. Then more expansion they are making. So already it's place there. Then they are expanding further and further. With the concept as Yuge Yugin Bharat. That is, if you translate to English, it's a everlasting India. So what's happened for last 5,000 years plus? So everything, including the British rule, the Muslim, okay, Islamic part, everything, right? The major thing they wanted to keep it. So that will going to replace National Museum. So again, right? You want to create their own way, like our KCR undone the previous secretariat and have is now the special, right? So it's something like this. So this is all for today's interface. Any doubts, clarifications? So online, I think, right. So thank you very much. So see you next week.